Pharmacology. Now we are going to continue our pharmacodynamics. You can check out our old video pharmacokinetics in a playlist. So we are going to complete pharmacology. So first general pharmacology soon. So first now let us start with our topic dynamics. So in this lecture, so we are dividing it into 4 parts so that it would be easy because it's a very long lecture. So in the first session we can discuss about introduction, definition, principles of drug action and mechanism of drug action, enzymes, ion channels, all those things. So there are transporters, receptors, action effect sequence, dose response relationship in the second part, and the third part combined effects of drugs, synergism, antagonism, and fourth part we're going to kind of drug dosage and factors modifying drug action. So let us start now dynamics. So what is pharmacodynamics? Here pharmacon means drug, dynamics means power. So what that it is like what the drug does to the body, so if you take a drug, for example, if you are taken a drug, so what the drug is doing in the body after going inside, so that is what the mechanism we are going to study today. So it includes the physiological and biochemical effects of a drug and their mechanism of action at the organ system, because mechanism of action we need to know, because now what drug is going to do inside our body after entering, and also we see subcellular, macromolecular level, at every level we need to see what the drug is doing after we take a tablet or anything. So is the study of what is pharmacodynamics is mainly the study of what the drug does to our body, how the drug do, and action effect sequence and the dose effects relationship. That is, action effect means which action is showing what effect we are getting by the drug, and dose effect sequence. So what are the principles of drug action? Like the drugs don't impart any new function in the body, but they just alter the pace of ongoing activity in the body. Means they are not giving any new function, but just they are increasing the pace. Means whatever the activity is going on in the body, it increases that activity more, it gets amplified, that's it. So drug action is classified by stimulation, because these are all actions. Means after taking drug, what kind of action it is showing, like stimulation. What is stimulation? Let us see all those processes one by one. Stimulation, depression, irritation, replacement, cytotoxic action. So what is stimulation? In the name you can understand that something is getting activated, right? So the drug selectively enhance the level of activity of some specialized cells. So you can take example like adrenaline, it activates the heart. Pleocarpine, it activates the salivary glands. So like that. Depression, in the name you can understand, it is something depressing or decreasing that activity. So drugs selectively depress the activity of specialized cells. So example, barbiturates decrease the function of CNS. Local anesthesia decrease the nerve conduction, so that only anesthesia, it's useful in operations, etc. Next, coming to irritation. Sometimes irritation also. Drug creates selective noxious effect on less specialized cells. So irritation again divided into mild or strong. If the irritation is mild, then it can stimulate the function, right? But if irritation becomes strong, then it may cause inflammation, necrosis, corrosion. So here mild effect is good for us, but strong is bad because it is again causing inflammation, necrosis, corrosion, damage, so etc. Next, coming to replacement. So it's nothing but use of natural metabolites, hormones in deficiency state. For example, you can take insulin. In diabetes mellitus, patients' insulin is very low. So we are replacing it by means of drugs. So like this you can understand, right? So levodopa is given for Parkinson's, insulin for diabetes mellitus, iron for anemia. In anemic patients iron is low. So we replace it by means of drug by giving iron tablets. So coming to cytotoxic action, in the name you can understand. Cyto means cell, toxic means we are making toxic. By using this drug, we are inducing toxin to our body. So how it is selectively on parasites and cancer cells. Yes, we need to kill them, and cancer cells we need to destroy them. So for this we use the cytotoxic action. So example, here we have penicillin, chloroquine, cyclophosphamide, etc. So this is what we need to understand in the introduction. Now next let us understand the mechanism of drug action. So drug is entered into our body. So what is doing? Let us understand. So drug, mainly it affects on the target molecule, right? What is the target molecule in our body? That is nothing but the proteins. We know our body is made up of many proteins. So our drugs mainly go and first act on the protein. So protein are divided into 4 basic categories. What are those? First one is enzymes. So enzymes are very important for the drug action. So all biological reactions in our body are taking place through enzymes, right? So here the drug may increase or decrease the enzymatic reaction according to the use which we want. So if these enzymes are stimulated, they may produce the natural metabolites or receptors and secondary messengers. Natural metabolites, like you can take pyridoxine, is increase activity. It increases the activity of decarboxylase enzyme. So like this, the drugs which can increase the activity of enzyme. Here just now we discussed that drug may increase or decrease the enzymatic reaction. So example, you can take a pyridoxine is increasing the decarboxylase enzyme. And receptors and secondary messengers, we know with the beta receptors and adrenaline along with the cyclic AMP increase the activity of hepatic glycophosphorylase. So this is one of the example for that. Now let us see the enzymatic reaction. So enzymatic reaction is divided into enzyme induction and enzyme inhibition. Induction means it is synthesis of increase in number of enzymes. Inhibition means inhibiting the enzymes. That is it is denature enzymes. So drugs used in external application, mainly here in inhibition we used by external application. Here the drugs, they degenerate the enzymes in the case of inhibition. So this inhibition is further divided into two types, like competitive and non-competitive type. So we know this already in our enzymes in our previous classes, right? Competitive means it is also known as equilibrium type, where the drug and substrate both are fighting for same binding site, because these both are similar in structure, so they can easily bind to that. So they are competing for the binding site. So new equilibrium is now forming. So here in the case the Km, that is the rate of constant of reaction, is increasing. Vmax means velocity is unchanged here. So increase in substrate concentration, it may displace the drug and maximum reaction velocity can be achieved. That is, they are saying if we increase the substrate concentration, for example, as we said, drug and substrate are fighting for the same thing. So if we increase only the substrate concentration, then it displaces the drug and maximum relation velocity can be achieved, right? So example, you can take here phosphostigmine and neostigmine. Both are competing for the cholinesterase to acetylcholine. Phosphostigmine and neostigmine are competing for acetylcholine to bind with cholinesterase. That's it. So next let us see non-equilibrium type. There is a drug and substrate are different in structure. This is just opposite to the equilibrium type, right? So here they are forming the covalent bonds with the binding site. They form such a covalent bond that there is high affinity for the drug. Affinity means the amount by which a drug can attach to it. So example, you can take here methotrexate is 500 times more powerful than DHFA for dihydrofolate reductase. So in this case, in non-equilibrium type, the Km, the maximum rate of constant is very high, but the velocity is very low. But here if you remember, the velocity is unchanged, but the rate of reaction is increased. Now let us check out the non-competitive type. Here in non-competitive means there is no competition. Means what? Just the drug goes and attached to the adjacent site of the enzyme, that is not in the catalytic site, to the side of the catalytic site. So here the Km, the rate of reaction is unchanged and the velocity becomes very low because there is no competition. But here there is competition, of course, but the rate of reaction is getting very high because here they are very much fighting for each other, but the velocity is unchanged. And here the Km is very high, and here also velocity is so much decreased. Here also velocity decreased. So that we need to understand. And one more example for competitive is like sulfonamide along with PABA are competing for the bacteriofolate synthesis. So once if you check out this graph, we can understand that Km, Vmax, etc. So you can see this is the reaction velocity, this is the substrate concentration, and here you can see the different Kms, that is Km means the rate constant of the reaction, and KMS, as you can see here, this means stimulated enzyme. I means in presence of competitive inhibitor. So you can see in presence of competitive inhibitor how the KMS increase means the reaction is increased, and Km means the rate of constant of reaction, KMS means stimulated. So here also Vmax, same, Vmax means stimulated. First Vmax means what? Maximum velocity of a reaction, and S means stimulated Vmax, I means in the presence of our competitive inhibitor, and that's it, same. So here you can see a graph enzyme is stimulated, enzyme is induction, normal, competitive inhibition is going on, and non-competitive inhibition. As we already discussed the values, what happens to Kmax and Vmax. So let us move on to the next part, that is ion channels. So mainly ion channels are present between the membrane phospholipids, and they act as receptors, and drugs bind to them and affect in and out movements of the drug. So ion channels, our plasma membrane is double bilayer, lipid bilayer. So in middle we have lipids, outside we have our outside we have our hydrophilic end. So we know this. So they are present mainly between the membrane phospholipids, these ion channels, and act as receptors, and the drugs also bind to them, and they affect in mainly in and out movement of the drugs. So example, you can take local anesthetics which obstruct the sodium channels, and nifedipine which blocks the calcium channel, and nicroandil which opens the potassium channel. Next, let us move on to transporters. So all these are nothing but the effects, means drug can act on all these things, like as we said enzymes, so here ion channels, and even it can act on transporters, like they are specific membrane carriers or transport substrate from one side to other. So example, you can take desipramine. It blocks the net transporter and decrease the neural uptake of noradrenaline, and even the fluoxetine, it blocks the neuronal serotonin transporter. So these are the transporters, right? So here these drugs are acting like blocking these transporters. So drug can also show an effect on a transporter. So next, the drug can also show an effect on receptor, because what are receptors? First understand, they are macromolecules. They are binding site located on the surface or within the effector cell that serves to recognize the signal molecule and initiate the response to it, but itself has no other function. So it doesn't have any function, right? It is just present on cell membrane, maybe outside or inside, but it just gives inside signals whenever a ligand gets attached to it. So now let us see agonist. What is agonist? An agent which activates a receptor to produce an effect similar to that of physiological signal molecule. So agonist is just like, you can think as a ligand or anything which is activating on the receptor and giving signals inside. So what is inverse agonist? An agent which activates the receptor to produce an effect in opposite direction to that of agonist. Means in the name only you can understand inverse agonist, means it's opposite to the agonist. Next, coming to antagonist, an agent which prevent the action of agonist on a receptor and does not have any effects of its own. So antagonist work is to stop the agonist, but inverse agonist is reverse of agonist. Antagonist means in the name only antagonist, means it stops the agonist. Partial agonist means an agonist which activates a receptor to produce only submaximal effect but antagonize action of full agonist. That is, it partial, in the name you can understand, only gives a submaximal effect and it is antagonizing the action of full agonist. Means sometimes a partial agonist can completely act as an antagonist, that is, it may stop the agonist working. That's it. So what is ligand? Ligand means ligare means in olden words, Greek words, like binding. So any molecule which attaches selectively to a particular receptor or site is nothing but the ligand. So what are the theories of drug action? We have the receptor occupation theory, two-state receptor model. So let us see these theories. What is receptor occupation theory? It is mainly found by Clark. It is based upon like binding of drugs to the receptors, means how the drugs are bind to the receptors and the pace of cellular function altered by the drug receptor interaction. So we know whenever a drug binds to a receptor and it changes the interaction. So here you can see this drug is attaching to the receptor and forming a drug receptor complex, and it is showing some effect on a specific tissue or cell. So here by this receptor occupation theory we have found some words like affinity, intrinsic activity or efficacy. So what are these ones? Let us understand. What is affinity? The ability of a drug to bind to the receptor. That's it. A drug is binding to the receptor. That is affinity. What is intrinsic activity? That is the ability of a drug to induce a functional change. Means this intrinsic activity or efficacy, it is also known as efficacy. It is changing the functional change in a receptor. It is just binding. Affinity means. Efficacy means it is functionally changing the receptor, right? So strength of the stimulus is given by S. So here D plus R, that is drug plus receptor, form drug receptor complex, and it creates a stimulus, and this stimulus further gives an effect. So this stimulus may be further again strong stimulus or also sometimes may be weak stimulus. So let us see agonist. Agonist is having affinity for the receptor, right? And the efficacy is also maximum in the case of agonist, that it also binds to the receptor and also functionally change the receptor. Example, you can take adrenaline, histamine, morphine. So these all are directly binding to the receptor and also they are functionally changing the receptor. Next, coming to competitive agonist. Affinity for the receptor is present and intrinsic activity or efficacy is completely zero. That is, they only bind to the receptor, competitive agonist, because they are in competition. They just bind but no functional change. So example, propranolol, atropine, chloramperamine. And next, coming to partial agonists. They are also having affinity and their intrinsic activity may be submaximal, as the name partial, so submaximal. And inverse agonist, affinity is present, again intrinsic activity may be 0 to 1, that is 0 to -1. So example, you can take DMCM1, benzodiazepine receptors, like that. Next, two-state receptor model, that is receptor may be G active or two-state R model means receptor are G active, the receptor may be in the active form or inactive form, and these both are mainly present in an equilibrium. So agonist is mainly activating is binding with the active form and it is generating the response. So we know that agonist means which acts binds with the receptor and always give a response, generate the response. But antagonist, you know, it is stopping agonist means antagonist may react with both active form and inactive form, and so whether antagonist acting with the active form or inactive form, it doesn't give any response. Remember about antagonist. And next, inverse agonist, it acts with only inhibition because it's opposite to agonist, so opposite response or no opposite response. Next, coming to the partial agonist. Partial agonist mainly binds with the activated form only and sometimes with inactivated, but activated is greater than inactivated and it gives submaximal as the name. So partial, whenever you find it, always like submaximal response or submaximal type. So we are in last part of this part 1. So what are the nature of receptors? So receptors are macromolecular proteins, right? Again we have discussed, present within the membrane phospholipid, right? So the nature of receptors may be physiological and according to drug. Physiological means examples like adrenaline, cholinergic, histaminergic, steroids, and drugs are like benzodiazepine, sulfonylureases, etc. And next, coming to subtypes of receptor. So the subtypes of receptor mainly differ in affinity, ligand binding, tissue distribution, transducer pathway, and also molecular composition. So examples, we have adrenergic receptors like beta and alpha type. Beta are further divided into beta 1, beta 2, beta 3 types, and alpha divided into alpha 1, alpha 2 types. So these are all mainly subtypes of mainly used for the development of more targeted drug, because now we are having many subtypes, means we can create more types of drugs so which can act on these different kinds of subtypes. So this is all about just concept of our first part of our thermodynamics. Next, let us continue with our other 3 parts.